Y'all stay in that trouble? All right, cool. You got your ID on you, chick?
No, I live right here.
Okay, cool.
It's a cigarette. Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like
No.
Code 3, anything like that people are putting up? All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together, 7 days of going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies of somebody, there's a shooting and things like that. So there's extra hands as well, right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up, at the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flash like you, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting chippy. All right, so just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo, everybody's out, from FBI to park police. Right? So do your thing, let them know. Don't be smoking outside, don't be drinking outside. Because Donald Trump is tired of it. People coming to visit.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know smoking in public?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the arrestable
Because
offense.
in Maryland, there's recreational use, so I didn't know.
Yeah, so DC, it's recreational use as well, right? But you can legally possess up to 2 ounces. You can gift an ounce to your boy, right? So if you had 2 ounces and he said he needed a zip, you can give him a zip, but you can't smoke outside.
They what?
You see these fascists right here in our
Fascists?
Fuck you! Fuck you, fascists! Shame! 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 Shame!
Y'all laughing, but that's the truth though. We really talking real shit.
Shame!
Fucking clown, man.
Like a fucking way! You bitch! Motherfucker! Oh! 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 It's fucking gun! It's fucking gun! He cooked him! He cooked them.
But a meaningful fraction of his base voters will be happy to watch video of young black men being arrested and chained hand and foot in the streets. That is what Trump's feral sense of his own base will lead him to do. And again, it's not every Republican in the country, but there are a lot of them in his base who have been very disappointed about the Epstein matter, and this is a way for him to bring them back home.
Joyce, I want to play some sound from Maddow last night, just talking about Trump's authoritarianism, and get your thoughts on the other side.
He wants U.S. military force deployed on U.S. soil facing inward as a show of force to the American people about what he and the government can do to you. And we clearly are now in the part of the attempted authoritarian takeover where our authoritarian leader just starts trying to turn our own military to face us, the people of this country.
Shalom. I want to start by saying all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakwadash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to Akim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty, and the hopeful let constantly enduring. Shalom. My name is Korah Allah. Lord willing to edify a lesson. The title of this lesson is going to be Isaiah 33 and 6 is around the corner. Okay, Isaiah 33 and 6 is around the corner. Now, rewatching what's going on with DC, what happened in LA, what's going on in DC, and it's giving it's giving martial law, it's giving tyrannical actions, right? Because the president Trump, who's set up through the spirit really jumpstart these upcoming prophecies. All right, who's going to jumpstart these last end time prophecies, which the end time prophecies consist of the MOTB, the Mark of the Beast, and also World War III. Okay, but we're gonna watch. We're also gonna watch for mayhem. We're gonna watch for famines and uproars of the people. We're gonna watch for martial law. Right, all these things are end time prophecies. All right, real quick. It says the Washington Post. It says the Pentagon plan would create military reaction. Will create military reaction force for civil unrest, a domestic civil disturbance quick reaction force. American cities facing protest. It says the plan calls for 600 troops to be on standby at all times to deploy in as little as 1 hour. All right. So it says the Pentagon plan will create military reaction force for civil unrest. The plan calls for 600 troops to be on standby at all times to deploy in as little as 1 hour. Why is there a civil unrest? Because the laws are tyrannical, right? And it's bringing people to their breaking point. Okay. Not only is inflation bringing people to their breaking point, okay, the utilities is sky high. The food is sky high. Gas, sky high, right? So people are being brought to their breaking points. The jobs are decreasing. The raises, there are no raises, right? AI is taking away a lot of jobs. People are finding it hard to feed their families. People are finding it hard to keep a roof over their heads. All right. So now people are at their breaking points, and to bring these troops in, right? Whether it's the military, whatever branch of military they bring in, this is like the last straw, the straw that broke the camel's back. All right. And Trump know this. So what's going to happen is they're bringing in troops. Okay. They're bringing in troops to combat their own American people. This is 2 Ezra 9:3. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right. So the signs are passing, right? Which the signs are the prophecies coming to pass. All right. So these are the things that we're measuring. How we measure the prophecies come to pass by watching the news. Okay, staying in tune with what's going on in the news around the world, as far as the military news, natural disasters, uproars of the people, famines, right, financial crisis, and whatnot. All these are in line with prophecies, right? World War III, wars and rumors of wars. It says, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, right, which we are seeing earthquakes, there was even a 2.6 earthquake in New York not too long ago. Okay, so that's definitely signs of the times, however little it may be. That was an earthquake. Okay, there are other earthquakes going on around the world that's creating devastations, but there are earthquakes going on nonetheless. All right, that's prophecies. Wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, but there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Uproars of the people, right? Now there's a protest going on over there in DC, right? Just how they protest in LA, right? And there's gonna be plenty more protests. Why? Because this thing is gonna spread. It's not gonna stop at DC. It's not gonna stop at LA. When it happened in LA and you had those the Northern Kingdom was being affected, people were laughing, right? Even you so-called Negroes were laughing and didn't feel bothered because it was only happening to the Northern Kingdoms, okay, or the so-called Spanish or so-called Mexicans, right, that crossed the border. But now it's the crackdown is also upon you niggas now too. You so-called niggas too. Okay? So it says, it says, therefore when thou shalt see earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days where before, it says, from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So these prophecies that were already prophesied from the beginning, but now they're manifesting. Okay? It says, for like as old things is made in the world, has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So this kingdom has a beginning and an end. All right? But now the end is manifest through these prophecies coming to pass. All right? That's why we're hearing talks of the mark of the beast. Some people already have the chip in them. Okay? Because why? Because of the miracles that the chip brings. Like using your limbs you couldn't use before. Seeing, if you were blind, if you couldn't see in color, now you could see in color. Right? Now you could use your computer with your mind. Right? So all these things cause people to take the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. Right? But the microchip is not implemented yet. When it's implemented, that's when it fully comes to play according to prophecy. Okay? World War III, another one that's already spoken about in prophecies that didn't come to pass yet, but now it's coming to pass. It's beginning to manifest. The ending is at hand. Okay? And these people, they're beginning to panic, right? Because they didn't want to believe in the prophets when the prophets were on the scene. But now all these things are coming to play. It's harder and harder to neglect or to neglect or not even neglect. It's getting harder and harder to deny who are the true prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 16. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So it says there shall be sedition among men. What's sedition? Sedition is a speech that entices violence, that entices rebellion. Okay? Now what's going on? They're protesting in DC the acts of the president. Okay? Now Trump have people on standby. Trump has military on standby. We just read it. Trump has over 600 military men, National Guard on standby. So if anyone starts to any sedition, any protesting, right? Trump already has the military on standby to end it, to squash it. All right. So it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and their courses of their actions shall stand in their power. So things are going to get even worse. All right. Because there is going to be invading one another. It's going to be mass confusion. Right. Things have to get worse. One, because they have to, starting the elites, they have to bring in that new world order. Right. So they believe in order out of chaos, or ordo ab cato. All right. So they're going to create that chaos, man. And it's going to bring space or room for that martial law, or ultimately that chip. Okay. And ultimately this is all set up ultimately from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, but this is ultimately curses upon the people. All right. Woes and lamentations. All right. This is a time of woes and lamentations. It says a man shall desire. It says 2 Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able. That's martial law. Okay. That's martial law. And we're seeing it happen right before your eyes. Now they're saying that they're going to have troops in DC for 30 days. But after 30 days, they're unsure of what's going to happen. Okay. Everything here that's being set up is being monitored. Right. and they're gonna see what works and what does not work. So when it's time for them to really pull the plug, when it's time for them to really put the people under martial law, they know exactly what to do, and they know exactly how the people are gonna react. So they're gonna have everything prepared. They're gonna have a plan, all right, and that plan is gonna have contingencies, all right. So it's gonna be no escape. The only escape is gonna be for the elect. This is 2 Ezra 16, and I can start at 70. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." All right, now the time's at hand, which ultimately is Jacob's trouble. It's not only going to affect 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but it's also going to be a trial run for the elect. Okay, so insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, because guess what? Esau already knows who the men of the Lord are. All right, they know who the apostles are. They know who the members of GMS are. They know who's out there in the highways and byways. Okay, and ultimately, when they target these people, just know ultimately they want to scratch us off the list also. Right? Because why? We represent their downfall. We represent their demise. It says, "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." And all this is possible. All right. Matter of fact, right now, Trump is pushing out everyone that's homeless. He wants them out of DC. Okay. Now, also, if you have a temporary visa that allows you to stay in America, guess what? He wants you back in your country, right? If you were allowed temporary, if you were allowed to come to the States for temporary refuge, guess what? He wants you back in your country. You know, he started kicking out the Haitians, started kicking out the so-called Haitians, which are the Levites. They started kicking out Issachar, which are the so-called Mexicans. Okay, so what makes you think he wouldn't do it to you? Okay, now they have the power to control the narrative. They could put us in a bad light. They could call us terrorists. They could call us criminals, right? They could call us traitors. And by doing this, they could give them every right to persecute us on all levels. It says, "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen." And it says, this is 2 Ezra 17 and 71. It says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none." Right? They're going to be like madmen. What you're seeing now happening in DC, right? They're just coming up to Jake on their property and asking him questions. They ain't going to be asking questions all the time. This is something called gradualism. It starts off with them just asking questions, letting you know the laws, from them just knocking down your doors, right? Taking you out your homes, right? It says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire." Right? So even the elect is gonna go through this time of Jacob's trouble, right? This time of persecution. You know, you got Jake, that you saw Jake being pressed for smoking a cigarette and having recreational drugs. They said you can't drink outside, you can't smoke outside, you gotta do everything indoors. So right now it's not safe. It wouldn't be a wise thing to be roaming the streets, right? The wise thing to do is, if you have a job, go to your job, go home. Don't try to be out late partying. Don't try to join the protest. It's not safe. If they catch you, you might not make it back home. Okay? But these things are going to intensify over time. This is Isaiah 33 and verse 6. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. The times at hand, right? You're gonna need this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, because if they shut down the internet, if they shut down your right to free speech, because if you're having a peaceful protest, that's the right of free speech. Okay, now Trump is saying that he has men ready to intervene if there's any protesting. Okay, so how about he have men ready if there's any street prophesying? Okay, if you out there in the street prophesying, how about they come and gather and round you up? Okay, so it says, and wisdom and knowledge should be a stability of thy times. So you're gonna have to have that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You're gonna have to have it now and not wait till it gets so crazy that the men can't go out there in the highways and byways. It gets so crazy you can't look up the men online that's doing the works. Okay, because Esau even knows what you watch online. So if they see in your history that you've been watching GMS, you're a potential target. Okay, so it says, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So you need this the fear of the Lord. Okay, fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is his treasure. When you have treasures, that's how you get out of jams. Okay, a lot of people a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these wealthy people, they buy their way out of trouble. Okay, they buy the judge. Okay, now they make deals, right? Because they might have some kind of status, they might have some kind of pull, right? People might gravitate to them. They make deals. All right, now if you don't have it, now what's going to get you out of these times is not going to be gold and silver. Okay, the real treasures is the scriptures. It even says, store for yourself treasures in heaven. All right, it says, in wisdom and knowledge should be a stability of thy times. Having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, to know, to call upon Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and to trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, to not trust in man, to not trust in guns, to not trust in your own abilities. That's not going to save you in these times, right? This is going to be a real test for the elect, or for the hopeful elect. This is 2nd Ezra 19:4, straight to the point. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them. Right? That cruel lord and that fierce king has to be Donald Trump. Okay? Also known as spiritually Nero, right? In the reincarnation. Right? Because why? Because Trump loves to be in the limelight. He loves to watch sports, be entertained, and at the same time, he's having his way. You know, he's having his way according to the elites, but he's moving faster than any president has ever moved. All right, he is that cruel lord, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hands of a cruel lord, which America is spiritual Egypt. Right? That's why, you know, Trump is moving tyrannical. All right? Because he's coming in the spirit of that cruel lord. You know, that's the man that the Most High put in charge. You know, so definitely we could all see this whole thing popping off under Trump's rulership. And the first king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So it's all ultimately all set up by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Trump is a straight up tyrant. You know? It's going to drive the people insane. It's going to drive the people to lose their minds. When people lose everything, they lose it, right? So it's going to drive people to lose their minds, and it's going to push us farther into on martial law, right? And fall into Jacob's trouble. Lowest edifying lesson, I want to say all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Hakwadash, double honesty apostles, Bishop of the Elsewhere Millstone, and salutation so I can push in this word, and also stating honesty. Shalom.